in-loaded bats. So the CAT8 Connect kind of fulfilled that more in-loaded power hitters bat line, which is why it's actually only available in a -3 and a -5. So obviously, as players grow up and they get into their swing, they're going to learn what type of bat they like, whether it's a balanced or in-loaded bat. So that's why the CAT8 Connect starts at a -5, because that's where players we saw really started to transition and learn their swing, whether they like the balance or in-loaded bat. So being that the CAT8 Connect is a hybrid, you have the carbon composite handle, you have the aluminum barrel. And so being that the composite handle is made out of carbon, it's a lighter material, this bat in turn is generally going to have a more top-heavy feel. So it's going to be more in-loaded for those more power hitters. One thing that we did on our two-piece connection bats on our hybrids is our SDS connection, which started with the CAT7 Connect. In the CAT6, we only had one. We had a one-piece aluminum bat line. When we moved into the CAT7 was when we first introduced the CAT7 Connect as the hybrid part of the family. And that was for those players that was gearing towards a more top-heavy bat. And that's what the CAT7 Connect accomplished. And now moving into CAT8 and the CAT8 Connect, it's the same theory, is that the CAT8 Connect is going to accomplish the more in-loaded feel for that power hitter. The barrel itself is actually the same structural barrel that's on the CAT8. So there's not anything different in the barrel. It's just that with having a hybrid design and having that carbon composite handle, it's going to have a more top-heavy feel. So players get the same performance out of each bat, but the Connect is going to have a more in-loaded feel to it. The SDX EXT connection that is actually on the hybrid, which stands for shock dissipating connection, is actually now an extended shock dissipating connection. So on the CAT7 Connect, we had the original SDX connection. It was a threaded mechanical lock connection, which basically means that the barrel and the handle were isolated by a material that was threaded, and it would actually screw into place, creating a stiff connection, or at least what we thought was a stiff connection. So that got out there and people loved it. A lot of our college partners love it as it had being in-loaded bat. It performed. And so we looked at over the off season and, over last season, how can we make that better? What was the feedback? And some of the players that we found, they're like, man, our hybrid bats that we swing, and not necessarily Marucci, but they're like, they have a lot of flex to them. And what we found is players like to actually feel the ball hit the barrel. They want to feel that contact, if they squared it up or if they mishit it, but they just don't want to feel the sting or the vibrations, that comes with some of those mishits. So we knew we had to create a stiff connection, but also at the same time dissipate all those vibrations from getting from the barrel to the player's hands. So we looked at ways of how can we improve the SDS connection, and basically extended it. And what I mean by extending, I have some cutaways right here. So if you look at the inside of our bat, it's actually threaded right here at the connection. So this is actually considered the actual connection piece with the extension of the handle. So in turn, when this gets put in place, this screws in, but at the same time, it extends past the edge of the barrel. So what that helped to do was actually create a stiffer connection between the handle and the barrel, but the material that this is made out of is actually a low durometer rubber. So the connection piece itself helps to absorb the vibrations as they travel from barrel to handle, but it dissipates them before they actually get through the player's hands. So the extended SDX EXT is actually a stiffer connection, which more energy transfer to the ball, because you don't lose it whenever the bat's kind of flopping around. You have a stiff connection, and therefore more energy transfer to the ball, higher performance.
Right.
So that's the CAT8 Connect in a nutshell. It's that's geared for those power hitters, those guys that like that in-loaded feel, but still that high performance barrel that's found on the CAT8.
That's what I was going to ask. Basically, the Marucci Connect CAT7, it's very popular among players, but it's really for those power hitters. If you're looking to maybe have a step up, this is probably the model that you want to look at, these CAT8 Connects.
Exactly.
Perfect. Well, this is probably the category that everyone's been looking forward to, is the CAT8 bats. So really marrying the CAT7 bats. So the CAT8 bat line includes a BB core, SA drop 5, a USSSA drop 8, USSSA drop 10, and a junior big barrel bat. So 5 bats in total, and this is the one that is really graduating on the CAT7. talk about high level what these bats features are.
Yeah, so the cat line, the one-piece cat line has been our flagship line since day one. Back to the Cat 5, and then the Cat 5 squared, and then the Cat 6, and the Cat 7, and now the Cat 8. And it's a traditional, it's a one-piece bat, it's a one-piece aluminum bat. However, our cat line, being that it's been the most popular, it features a few particular technologies that are really diverse in the bat line itself, but unique compared to everything else that's out in the market. So high level, it features our AV2 knob, which is actually a anti-vibration knob. It's patented by Marucci. You won't see it on any other bats in the market. But basically, within our knob, there's actually a rubber harmonic dampener. So I actually have a blown out piece right here where you can actually see. So within the external part of our knob, you can see it just looks like it's a nice nylon housing. It's got the cool look on the top, but on the inside is where all the technology is at work. So you actually have an aluminum pin, and then on the inside, this is actually a rubber dampener. So if you can imagine this piece, squeezing a piece of rubber, that's what this is. And within that rubber is actually a steel weight. So what happens is as vibrations travel down the bat, they actually get pushed into this aluminum pin and then absorbed into this rubber dampener. What it does is actually take those vibrations from the player's hands and doesn't allow the vibrations to travel back up the bat. So if you think of an aluminum bat, it's like a tuning fork. It's one piece of metal that as it hits, vibrations go up and down. Well, what this dampener does is as soon as the vibrations go down, it sucks them up to where they can't go back up through a player's hands. So it dissipates, it takes away most of the vibrations on contact. The other part of the knob is you notice a lot of the metal that's in there. Well, the knob actually weighs 2 ounces itself. So in a player's swing, the knob is situated below their hands. So that actually lowers the swing weight and lowers the MOI of the bat to where a -3 is actually going to feel like a -5 when they're swinging it. A -8 is going to feel like a -10 when they're swinging it, and so forth. The -10 senior league and -10 junior big barrel will actually feel like a -12 in the player's hands. That's one thing that nobody else on the market really has, because that's just one of our patented technologies. And the AV2 started on the first Cat 5 squared, and we continued it and we actually upgraded it. We retooled some designs, looked at the way some of the different lengths actually acted differently on contact and how the vibration frequencies traveled on different lengths of bats versus -3, -5, -8, -10. And actually, we used some different materials in that rubber dampener that help for the particular lengths. So it's really fine-tuned for each particular size and weight option within the Cat8 line. The other thing that's unique to a lot of our bats is that we use a ring-free barrel technology. So on the whole Cat8 line, it's a one-piece aluminum design. However, on the inside, it features a variable wall design. A lot of our competitors in the market like to use one uniform wall thickness across the barrel. They put some type of ring or governor within the barrel walls so that they can pass the performance and certification tests. But in the end, you kind of leave these dead spots within the barrel walls. So what we use is actually a variable wall design where the barrel itself has no rings or governors, but actually has these different variable walls across the barrel. So having these variable walls, essentially, you're playing around with different thicknesses across the barrel. So different parts of the bat at contact act differently. Right here on your sweet spot, you're going to have probably your biggest bang for your buck when you square it up. So that's where it's going to perform the most. So we actually have to make the walls the thickest in this area so that we can pass certification standards and the bats don't, exceed the performance limits they're designed for. But as you get off of that sweet spot, kind of down here towards the end of the barrel, we actually start to thin the walls out because this part of the barrel during a swing is moving faster than this part of the bat, but there's not as much mass at contact, so there's not as much mass for the energy transfer to the ball as it would be down here. So what we do is to compensate for that, we thin the walls out to allow the barrels to flex in more and get more trampoline effect to compensate for the less amount of mass at this part of the barrel. Same thing down here towards the taper. We have a lot more of these variable walls. You can see about 5 of them right here in this area. So what that does is during the swing, this part of the bat is actually moving slower than this part of the bat. So we got to compensate for that slower speed by thinning these walls out more to allow them to flex on contact and actually compensate for the loss of speed during the swing to keep that performance as high as we can. So having this variable wall design, it's not very quick to produce. You got to think about it. You're taking an aluminum shell and there's 8 different thicknesses of walls. It's not a quick thing to produce, but at the end of the day, it creates a very high performing product and one that, you know, we're really proud of. And it started on the CAT5 squared, then the CAT6, the CAT7, CAT8, and every year we've looked at where can we update the design, how can we do it to make this a better bat than the predecessor. The biggest thing that allows us to do that is advancements in aluminum technology. So basically higher strength aluminums allow us to create thinner walls without having durability issues. So that's one of those things that isn't a very quick thing to do, to develop and formulate a new aluminum alloy, and then go through the rigorous testing for it, because, you know, these are products that are sometimes dangerous if not produced properly. You know, if they're made quickly and not done and gone through the proper test, you know, it's a metal piece. So going through the development of that is making certain everything's in line, everything checks out. And that goes into the whole development of taking the time to test the bats properly over the 2 years. But, you know, we're very proud. This features our new AZ105 alloy, which is also on the CAT8 Connect. It's a very high tensile strength alloy, and it's really forgiving. So that's what allowed us to create these thinner walls without having durability of issues and having dinning going on. So essentially on the CAT8 and the CAT8 Connect, these off-centered areas is where a lot of our focus was how can we make the bat more forgiving and feel better and perform better off the sweet spot. We know what we can do on the sweet spot. It's how can you get those areas off of it, because not every player is going to square up every pitch. So you want to try to get that performance as far out as you can off of the sweet spot. And that's really what the AZ105 allowed us to do.
That's fantastic. Ryder, I feel like I'm taking a college course, but actually enjoying it. So thank you. If anyone has any comments, if you're tuning in, Ryder, as you can see, knows a lot about the Marucci Cat line, especially these CAT8s. Throw your questions in the comments. We'll try to get to as many as we can here later. But we want to go over the third category, these cat composites, because this is pretty new. So this is the new addition. And it includes a USSSA Drop 5, a USSSA Drop 8, USSSA Drop 10, and a junior big barrel bat. So 4 bats in total. But tell us, Cat Composite, this is brand new, right?
Yeah, so, you know, Marucci, we're known for a lot of our aluminum bats, and always has been. And we have had some composite senior league USSSA bats in the past. They've been there, and honestly, I'll be honest, you know, we learned a lot from them. We weren't well known in the composite bat space, but we did. We took a lot of feedback from our year's previous composite bat models. You know, we had 2 before this line came out over the past 4 years. And taking a lot of feedback and, you know, working with a lot of players. You know, for instance, some of our owners, our CEO has 2 young boys that actually play USSSA baseball. So the performance of field testing and everything like that is very rigorous. And it's done here, you know, and out at the field with a lot of players that know a lot about baseball, and they know what bats should feel like and how they should perform. So working off of our previous composite bat lines, you know, we kind of took it to the drawing board, said we gotta redo this whole thing. We worked with some new composite layups, some new composite materials, but then also a new proprietary composite resin. And so for those that don't really know about composite bats are made up of a lot of composite layers of fiber that are essentially laid on top of each other and then glued together with a resin. And what happens is with composite bats over time, after impact and impact and impact, people always talk about breaking in composite bats. What you're doing is you're actually loosening up the resin or the glue that holds these composite layers together. And over time, it allows the layers to flex and bend in more and more and more. So that's why people say you got to break your composite bats in. And they're exactly right. That's just what you're doing, is you're loosening up that resin between the layers. So what we're working on, or what we've been working on, is a new proprietary resin that is a very stiff resin, but also has a lot of malleability properties. So it allows the layers to flex in more and more and more, but also keeps a very stiff feel, so that you don't have a lot of this early breaking or premature cracking, which would then, you know, turn into warranty claims and bat replacements. The new composite layups are something that we worked and went back and forth, back and forth. I mean, we went through probably 4 to 5 rounds of 4 to 5 different types of composite prototypes to really get to what we thought was, the best one and that the players liked the most. So after all of our design and development, after all the field testing, all the certification testing, the CAT composite line, we decided to bring it into the CAT family because of the performance that it performs. It deserves to be part of the CAT family. This is a very high performing composite bat line that we haven't had before. It's much different than its predecessors, our other composite bats, which is why we're very proud of this line and why we offered it into a multiple range from -5, -8, -10, and now into a junior big barrel level as well. Because at the 1.15, USSSA limit, it's really hard to get to that limit with the one-piece aluminum design. You'll have a lot of durability issues. So composite bats make a lot of sense at the USSSA level because they can actually break in and get to that performance limit and get to the peak limit. And then we have to show, actually, the bats have to show damage once they exceed that limit so that they're not illegal bats out in the field and umpires can pull them from play. Composite line, it's a great composite bat line. We're really excited for it. Some of the local teams that have gotten to try it out and do it, they're loving it. It features, like I said, a brand new composite layup on the barrel itself, a new proprietary resin. We maxed out the barrel length on this composite bat line as much as possible, and it features our SDS connection. So even though it's a composite bat, which usually produces more vibrations because it's a more rigid design, with our new SDS connection, that actually dissipates all those vibrations. So this thing swings smooth, has a stiff connection, has a massive barrel, and really performs at the peak limit across all the different weight drops.
Yep. Well, you go over the features, and it sounds like an amazing bat line. Excited to see how the players like it. But there is an absence, and you kind of alluded to it. There's not a BB core model.
Mm-hmm.
So is it just? Yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
So one thing when it comes to BB core, and it kind of goes back to what I alluded to about the 1.15 BPF limit, is that at BB core, anybody can get to, manufacturer speaking, everybody can produce an aluminum design, which aluminum bats are hot right out the wrapper. There's no break-in period for aluminum bats. They're going to perform at the peak limit right out the wrapper. So anybody can produce an aluminum design that performs right at the 0.500 BB core level. Composite bats, though, actually have to start out below the BB core limit because they break in over time, and then they get to the limit. And then once they break in enough and they exceed the limit, they break, and you're not able to use that bat. So to us, composite bats don't really make sense at the BB core level because you can pick up an aluminum bat and perform right away right out the wrapper. It's going to perform as good as get. If you want to buy a composite bat, that means you got to get it. You got to break it in, get it to the limit, and then it's going to break eventually. At the U-trip level, which is why our composite bat line is only in the U-trip 1.15 BPF, those bats can actually get to the limit, whereas aluminum designs can't. So the composite bats actually make sense at the USSSA space at the 1.15, but at BB core, they don't really make sense. We believe in our aluminum designs are going to perform and outperform any composite BB core on the market right out the wrapper.
Wow. Fantastic information, Ryder. Really appreciate you kind of going over all three categories. And as they trickle in here on JustBats.com, everyone just make sure you continue to come to the site and see what Marucci's working on. And this CAT line, players want to hear customer feedback. Leave us your comments on social media. Review if you actually swung the bat. Because CAT7, CAT6, we continue to have those do very well. So we do have some questions coming in, Ryder. Is what's the difference between the big barrel CAT10 CAT8?
Say that again, kind of broke up. What's the difference between the junior big barrel CAT8 and the senior league -10 CAT8?
Correct. The senior league, the drop 10.
Got it. So the junior big barrel, even though the junior big barrel is a -10, and so is the senior league is a -10, The difference is that the junior big barrel is designed for players that are in coach pitch. So its barrel walls are thinner. It's designed to withstand smaller players that are going up against, coach pitching, soft pitching speeds. And, we make that from a 25 to a 27 inch. When you get to senior league, that's when players are actually starting to play against live pitching, which is faster pitching speeds. So we actually developed the CAT8 Senior League -10 in a 27 inch to a 31 inch because as players transition from junior big barrel to live pitching, they're going to need a bat that can withstand the live pitching speeds. So the Senior League -10 is actually designed to actually withstand those live pitching speeds that players are going to start facing. But we know that some players might still want to be able to swing a 27 inch. So that's why we kind of have that overlap for players that swing the junior big barrel on a 27 inch, and then the next year they're going to live pitching and senior league. And so, but they might not be able to swing a 28 inch. Well, we have a 27 inch as well in the senior league for an easy transition. And then they'll start learning, the senior league level bats and how those bats perform. And then, it's the same scale up to a -8, to a -5, to a BB core. At all the different levels of play, you're going against faster pitching speeds. Players are getting stronger. They're having faster swinging speeds. So you got to be able to curate designs that withstand all those increases in bat speed and pitching speeds as players, grow up and develop their swing.
It's funny, everyone's already commenting and we're getting feedback about, well, I want this specific model. Obviously, this is a brand new line. You guys are kind of still testing the market to see what is popular, what resonates with people. So just believe me, Marucci, from our experience here at JustBats.com, they make adjustments based off the demand. So for those of you looking for a certain size, be patient because I imagine if there's a signal to noise, they're going to make it. Okay, Ryder, these are your babies. Be honest, is there a favorite here?
Personally, I prefer the one-piece CAT8 BB core. I mean, that thing is tried and true. I was actually a PO in playing ball. I was a pitcher only. I didn't really swing that much, so I'm not a power hitter. If anything, I was more of a contact guy. So the one-piece CAT8 BB core, man, that's my go-to. If I'm over here knocking around, if I'm hitting in the cages, I'm gonna pull out that one piece and go after it.
That's awesome. Well, I guess we really appreciate your time. We've had a lot of fun. Anyone who has comments or questions, by all means, continue to put them in the Facebook feed or let us know. Call us here at JustBats.com. We'll get the answer for you. Ryder and his team do a great job at Marucci. We really appreciate their time. I guess, Ryder, is there anything you'd like to kind of add about the line in general?
Yeah, I mean, for any player that's out there looking for, to try out any bats or even guys that have had Marucci's before, these bats aren't going anywhere for 2 years. So feel free to get them, try them out. Get them. They're across the country now, or a couple clicks away at JustBats.com. If you need any more information, our customer service lines are open. I know, JustBats.com customer service open, very knowledgeable. And continue to look out for new stuff from us over the years. Our bats will go 2 years, but that doesn't mean we stagger in ones on that, that second year. We like to keep things fresh in the market. So all feedback is welcome, and we're really excited to get these out there.
We really if you haven't checked out Marucci, if you're brand new to all this, like their CAT8 lineup is brand new. You check out their CAT7, their CAT6. They do a fantastic job, but they also have a player advisory board that really is a who's who of Major League that kind of help them as well as some of the things Ryder has talked about. Their team's fantastic. They have a lot of innovative qualities, but the player advisory board is really neat. So even if you're not checking out BD Core, USSSA models, their wood bats are very good too. So Marucci does a great job, and we really appreciate you, Ryder, you taking the time, continuing to innovate. And is it too soon to be like looking forward to the CAT9?
Always looking forward. Always looking forward. Like I said, development starts and development never ends.
Yep.
There's always feedback, and that's what we're looking for. So, as these bats get out to the market, if anybody's got feedback, please send it in. That's what we're looking for. Look for us out at tournaments across the country. We have our mobile tour that travels. You can demo all the new bats, and give them the feedback. Everything we've done is always based off of the player. We're going to create high-performing bats to give players the best abilities, and that's what we're about. We're not just going to put a new paint on a bat, call it a new bat, say it's got these new features. When we come out with a new product, it's going to be a new product with new technologies, new features. But we believe in all of our bat lines, and so if you have some of the previous ones that you really like, they're still going to be around.
Well, congratulations, Ryder. We're really line up. I'm sure we'll have a lot of feedback for you based off of what our customers and players think. So, everyone, if you've got questions, comments, like we said, continue to throw them in on our Facebook comments or give us a call, live chat. We're always available 24/7. We love talking baseball bats, softball bats, and love talking Cat8 bats. Ryder, thank you so much.
I appreciate it, Greg. Thank you, guys.
Have a good one.